and then having Subway Surfers on the side and like soap cutting in the top right corner and like an audiobook in the background. It's just like we are frying our brains. Turn it over so the bright white light isn't blasting in your eyeballs. If you're on the computer, yeah, SOL I guess. It's called the bathtub. The bathtub. I'm feeling rather inspired. Odin laughed, breathily. I'm always inspired, I said. Of course you are. He sounded insinuating. You can't ever seem to help yourself. What do you like to do when you're inspired? I asked him. I do what most people do. I follow the feeling and explore it until I reach some kind of creative satisfaction. Are you doing that right now? Yes, Ada. Say that again. Yes, Ada, I am, he repeated, raspier than before. Yes, Ada. Yes. What happens when you're done being inspired? I asked. When you're finished? You shouldn't ask me things like that. I know, I said, sorry. But to answer your question, I usually get something to drink. Water or... yeah, something like that. He let out a sigh. Your postcard really inspired me, Ada. Did it? I tried to sound perfectly neutral, as if I hadn't seen him tonguing the lipstick off the cardstock when he thought nobody was looking. Yeah, he breathed. Yeah, too inspired right now. I barely know what to do with myself. Is this really how you feel all the time? My throat felt tight. Yeah, I echoed. Maybe it's something in the lipstick, I thought. What did you say? Nothing. I stared down at the soapy bubbles, gently drifting across the surface of the water. After an extended moment, I said, potentially against my better judgment, you said creative satisfaction. Are you being creative right now? Are you making something? He laughed heartily then, like I'd said something exceptionally funny. Yes, Ada, I'm making something. I was too curious not to ask. What are you making? He didn't respond for a long time. I could hear the sound of his breathing through the phone, and it was sharp and shallow, conflicted. Oh, Ada, you don't know when to stop, do you? There was apprehension in his voice, struggle pulling at his vocal cords. I'm making... I tried again. What are you making, Odin? And for some reason, I felt no shame for how pushy I was being. He sighed and grunted and sighed again, and I thought I could hear the white noise hiss of him readjusting something like sheets or clothes. Right now, Ada, I'm making a fucking mess, he rasped. All depth and heat, and there it was, the kind of answer I could have only ever dreamed about. And gratification sizzled through every nerve in my trembling body like I'd been struck by pink lightning, and the gasp that was ripped from me bounced around the tiled walls of the tiny bathroom, and I felt dizzy with a kind of dangerous, intoxicating delight. That's dirty, I said, after a moment of luxuriating in his answer and the exact cadence of his admission. He seemed rather intent on thrilling me senseless. You have no idea. I'd like some idea, I whispered, clutching my phone so close to my ear that it hurt. Do you have any more postcards? He asked, leading me towards some kind of idea. I think this one may not be fit for display after I'm done with it. I gulped. What are you doing to it? Just appreciating it, he said. I could hear him choosing his words carefully. I'll make you another one, I said. I'll make you as many as you like. He hissed in response, as if pleased by that idea. Will you kiss it again? Would you like me to? I pictured his hotly conflicted expression. Don't make me answer that, Ada. Before I could speak, he continued. What lipstick color was that anyway? He asked. And his use of the past tense made me wonder what he'd done to rub away the color entirely. Where did you get it? I want to buy the same one for Ina's birthday. He couldn't have said something more intensely scandalous. Stop that, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Don't talk like that. Don't you dare do that. You're so cruel to her. White-hot grief flashed through me in a way that was not entirely unpleasant. I heard him scoff. You do this to me, Ada, he accused. You push me to this all the way to cruelty. The bathwater was starting to cool. You're a bad boyfriend to her, I said, trying to ignore my spreading goosebumps. And you're a bad friend to her, he retorted, and I knew it was true. My lower lip was trembling. Don't buy her a new lipstick, I said, leaning all the way into being the worst friend ever. I'll just give you mine, and then every time she kisses you, you'll be kissing me. He groaned then, a full and gratified sound, and I squeezed my eyes shut in shame, trying and failing not to imagine just what he might be doing. You're just as sick as I am, he gasped, and he sounded utterly delighted. You're so perfect, Ada. Please. You can't help it. I know you can't. You really are disturbed. His breathing was growing ragged on the other side of our connection. You don't care who or what becomes collateral damage in your pursuit of satisfaction, huh? I was too ashamed to be indignant. Pot, kettle, I murmured. I'm giving you a compliment. It doesn't feel that way, I said, my voice weak with guilt. That's because you can't see me right now, he said, as wry as anything. You can't see what I'm doing. He made a short noise of exertion. But I bet you can imagine, huh? I don't think I'm ever not imagining it, I admitted. Yeah. His voice was starting to sound increasingly strained. Yeah, there's a good girl. He was being too wicked for me to keep up with. All I could do was sigh and gasp and sigh. You're so good and perfect, Ada, aren't you? Not when I'm with you, I said in earnest. He laughed in a short, choppy burst. That's right, he agreed. Prim little Ada isn't so nice and sweet when she's with the big bad wolf, huh? I sank further into the water, trying to get warmer. For some reason, I could feel a stinging along my lash line. I guess you just make me worse, I said, through a tight jaw. Holy shit! He made a long drawn-out sound of extreme gratification. It sounded like he'd been taken off guard. Jesus Christ, Ada, say that again. I swallowed. I said, you make me worse. My heart was racing. I could just picture him and his ever-increasing mess. Fuck. His curses had always been so pretty, and that one was exemplary. Again, Ada. He sounded desperate. You're a bad influence, I said, hoping to further gratify him. You've corrupted me. You've ruined me. You make me bad. You make me do and think and feel bad things. You make me wild and selfish with desire. You... Ada, if you keep talking like that. You make me monstrous and I hate that I just love it. There was an unmistakable sound on the other end of the line, and I heard my heart pounding between my ears with a worrying kind of violence. Ada, Odin rasped after a moment of intense silence. You've never needed any help being monstrous. I know, I winced. The water was ice cold now, but I didn't want to get out of the bath. Maybe you just bring out the truest version of me. We're not bad for each other, you know, he said. We're just bad for everyone else around us. Yeah. I heard his heavy breathing start to level out. You're right, what should we do about it? I don't know. He sounded sincere. He was panting lightly.